Hello Aries, and welcome to your monthly reading for Aries Sun or Rising sign. This is for the month of April. Feeling this card here. So we're going to just kind of stick with what we've been doing. I've been liking the feedback and it just feels good still, so I'm just going to go with this. We're going to take a look at how to direct this general reading. Even though it's a collective reading, we can start to look at like what area of life is this more specifically being read about. And then we're going to take a look also at what is your month looking like? How is it unfolding? So we'll take a look at the beginning of the month. Felt like that one jumped out. Middle of the month and end of the month. Also, I'm just feeling these all come out here. All right, cool. And if we need any clarification cards, if I'm feeling it, then we'll do that as well. So, all right. And for all of us that just came through this month of March with all of the astrology that was going on, holy insanity, right? Like that was a lot. So, anyway, let's get into what your month looks like. So for rising or sun sign Aries. So the area of life that we're having this reading direct your attention towards is the 12th house. So, and the 12th house definitely, I mean, it says introspection, but the 12th house is definitely a house of spirituality. It's a house that has to do with, I would say, our faith, our letting go, our ability to trust some greater energy than ourselves. Some people call that God, some people call that whatever, the universe, right? But being able to trust those, like, and have faith and let go and trust the process, trust that will come through on the other side. Nothing is permanent, and sometimes that feels scary, but also the stuff that feels stuck or feels sensitive or feels overwhelming is also not permanent. So this is also a house, though, of deep spirituality, of like nature, getting into your sense of whatever spirituality means for you. It can be a house that has to do with the way that we escape addictions, and those don't have to be relegated to the realm of substances. So I'm not just talking about alcohol or things like other substances that you take, but I mean, Netflix can be an addiction, right? So it's just kind of like, where are you maybe feeling overwhelmed by life and needing to escape? And this is also the realm of entheogens and plant medicine and altered states of reality, which I think do tap us into this greater energy, this universal cosmic force. And so, yeah, so these are all of the different themes that this is pointing to for you. And what we have looking like as far as your month is shaping up, we have a very quick start to the month, right? But we move into, I feel like, I might want to pull another card for this. We move from the Knight of Swords into the, sorry, is that the King or the Queen of Wands? With this deck, I think it's a little bit hard to tell. Oh, this is the King. Okay, I had to check. So the King of Wands and into the Five of Pentacles, and the challenge being the Chariot card, coming into your spiritual advice being the Four of Staves, the Four of Wands. So just before we get into all of this, what I'm going to say is, like, one of the things that's popping up for me here, and we will go into this card more in depth, but the Four of Swords feels like this is a rite of passage, like you are going through this experience, which is very transformative in the way that the 12th house can be, even though that's not the house associated necessarily with transformation, but it really can, like, have us go deep, go inward, and then come out on the other side, like, because we needed to go through some type of growth process, and we come out on the other side in this new space. For some of you, I'm going to say maybe this astrologically, you could look at your chart if you're familiar with your chart and kind of see like what transits are happening for you this month. How is it aspecting your personal planets? So starting out the month, I feel like the energy feels quick, it feels fast, and maybe you want things to be moving faster than they are, but there is this feeling of urgency. And definitely when it comes to, I would say, your thoughts and it is a card of action, like the realm of your thoughts and your beliefs, and like maybe you're just kind of churning over too many things and you're feeling like you want to rush in and have things go faster than they are. Maybe you're trying to rush into having certain types of conversations that have to do with processing karmic ties or the past, past with like family karmic stuff. The 12th house can also touch on that, on what's karmic, what, you know, if you believe in past lives, it can have to do with that, but also can have to do with like these karmic lineage ties and things that we have to do with that, like with work. I hope that that makes sense. I'm just like connecting it back to that. Then we move into the middle of the month, and I feel like there is this place that you're trying to get into where you feel more in touch with your personal power, where you feel more in touch with the karmic and more inspired aspects of yourself, where you normally feel that sense of, because you're this fire, you have this fire in your chart, right? And Aries is ruled by Mars, right? It has this desire to take action and burst forth, and also to come from a place of instinctual inspiration. The wands are very inspired and creative, and maybe you want to feel like you're back in a place that feels more confident with yourself, and feels like you can just jump forward and go to create the things that you want to create in your world, as a king would, right? So, and then we come into the end of the month, and I just feel like, you know, there is this, I am going to pull another card for this. I'm really feeling like I want another card for this. Like, what is up with this? Which deck do I want to use? Really? No, I think I'll use this deck here. So I just want to, because I'm like, well, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, I realize I haven't actually been bringing these up to the screen for you. So just so you can see really quickly. Oh, it just started snowing outside. Talk about. So we have the Knight of Swords. And I like to have you guys see them close up so that you can see what imagery really pops out to you. We have the King of Wands. You know, and just really wanting to step into your self-confidence. Maybe you feel like you've lost a little bit of that, especially because when we come into the end part of the month, the last third of the month of April, it just feels like there is this feeling like there's a lot of pressure, like the world is on your shoulders. Maybe like you've taken on too much, and like nobody can help or nobody wants to help, maybe having that feeling. I mean, just being an Aries, again, like Aries and ruled by Mars, sometimes like you guys are such leapers forward, like the go-getters, the make shit happeners in the world, that it can feel a bit lonely sometimes, because it might feel like you're doing everything on your own. And so I think that there is this need to remember that you can actually, like, these people can go right up into that church and go be in community, right? I mean, like, religious symbolism aside, like just more symbolically, that you can be with people, you can be in community, and you're not alone, and you don't have to do this alone. You know, you're not a victim here. You have choice and possible like paths in front of you. It's more a matter of re-examining the idea or the belief that you have to do it by yourself, or it's all on your own shoulders. And maybe some of it is, maybe it feels like there are things that only you can do, and just remembering to look for help. And I feel like part of that help that is being, you know, kind of pointed to here is this is communal. I feel like it has to do with community. I definitely feel like, you know, when we're looking at the universe card, which for this particular deck is the world card, there is the completion of one cycle and the stepping into another cycle, right? And I think that like with the Five of Pentacles is really just speaking to like, hey, you know, whatever it is that's on your plate, wherever it is that you're going, like whatever's ahead of you, the next phase of life that you're stepping into, where you're moving into a new journey, a new hero's journey, right? That's like we get to the end of the major arcana and we move into a new cycle where we start back at the Fool, and we're on the, like, we have to go through this next process, right? And it's just like, you can go into this exhausted and feeling like you have a negative outlook on things, or you can allow the things that need to be let go of in your experience, let those chapters, let those cycles close out, and move into this next cycle and tap into community. I'm really getting like the feeling that you need to tap into, like, and I don't mean like you need to go join groups, maybe that's for you, but I mean like tap in with your friends, like your inner circle, reach out, talk with them, you know, get that feeling of support in your life, because I think that you're feeling unsupported. For some of you, this might actually be something that feels challenging, not just for on a soul level, on a spiritual level, but it could feel like literally you're feeling that way when it comes to your finances or your resources. And so feeling that kind of like pressurized feeling, and that can affect our, our mental health, right? I mean, the 12th house, I forgot to mention this, but the 12th house also has to do with our subconscious, with our psyche, with psychosis as well, and so taking care of like your mental, emotional health, your spiritual, mental, emotional health, like these realms, I think is really important. And so having people that you can connect with, having a coach or a best friend, or like somebody that, really can hear you and witness what you're going through and be present to what you're dealing with, and maybe like provide feedback or not provide feedback. But I think it's just important to have that. It feels a little bit bumpy, like it feels a little bit jumbled this month. Astrologically, we're not going to get into that like really that much this month, like I did in the last videos that I had for the last moon cycle. But, in this particular like month, it's just not as bananas crazy as the March month was, astrologically speaking. I mean, of course, there's always stuff going on, but I feel like there is just kind of like this feeling of like wanting things to get going and resettling and wanting to feel like more in your power and confident, and feeling like there are things that are challenging these aspects of your realm, needing to get that support. And the other thing too that I see is like the desire, along with like this desire to really want to get things going, is we have the Chariot card showing up in the challenge position. So I think that this is also part of like you needing to really get aligned with yourself, that there's this feeling of stuck in the mud, like things aren't moving forward, or I'm not clear on where to move forward, either feeling stuck in one of those ways, like I'm not clear on what path to take, like, because when the path is clear and you know exactly which choice you're going to make, it's so much easier. Like it's fast, it goes, like things click into place, right? When you feel really aligned with like what you're thinking, what your beliefs are, what you're feeling, what you're desiring, what your intuitive sense is telling you, like when you're aligned on all these different levels and you're like, yes, this is a full yes, it is so much more easeful, right? To just go, and to go fast even, right? But when you have the Chariot card showing up in this challenge position, it's just speaking to how it feels like it's not really going. And part of that to look at is your to look at your alignment. Like where are things not necessarily aligned? And I think that you're wanting things to move faster. And I think that you're wanting to feel this sense of alignment, and just feeling like for some reason, it's like you're wanting to be in this place of personal power, remembering your creativity and remembering like your fire, right? Like this is your fire sign. This is a fire suit. This is a fire king, wanting to step into that sense of leadership and authority with your own life, with yourself, maybe with other people, but with yourself for sure. And it keeps pointing back to this place, like these realms, whatever spirituality means to you, whatever that is. But, there is also in the process of getting aligned, there's a sense of also letting go at the same time. And maybe that seems counterintuitive as well. But when you can go inward, when you can go deep, right, which this is a very inward and going deep type of card, when you can go inward and you can go deep and you can examine what's up, what's going on here, like what's out of alignment, what do I still feel aligned with or not feel aligned with, and make more empowering decisions based on that, I think you'll start to see things move forward. For some reason, this is a part of your growth though. This is a part of what you're meant to actually go through and experience, because this is the card of rite of passage, right? The Four of Wands can feel really celebratory. I think there's also this need to remember what is good in your life. Like, let's appreciate that. Let's make sure that you have that. But this is also a card that tends to sometimes deal with this like ability to be vulnerable, to trust, to be open. And I think it all keeps coming back to these cards here that are showing like alignment, going inward, finding what is or isn't a part of like your path right now. And I'm just really getting that this is a growth spurt that you're meant to go through in your life, whatever age you are, wherever you are in your life, that this is a part of it. Now, for any of you that are making decisions around property specifically, just because randomly this card can sometimes have to do with property, I'm gonna say there's some more work to do here. So I'm just gonna say that. Maybe you want to look at like where you're living. Are you aligned with where you live? Are you aligned with like the city you live in, or maybe even not just the city, but the, you know, the house or the apartment that you're in, right? So just like it looks kind of jumbled, I know, but like it's like coming through more clearly to just, you know, there's this need to go inward. Maybe even for those of you who have experience, have support, proper support, have worked with certain medicines for a period of time. This could be a time every so often, you know, for myself, I'll just go, you know what, I feel like it's time. It's time for me to go inward and do some kind of healing with a particular medicine. And like, it's a very, you know, it's a process that it, you know, helps me. I don't do it all the time, but I do it when it's called for. So maybe this is a time where like going into an altered state of consciousness and doing some healing work there could be really beneficial as well. Maybe microdosing, you know, maybe that's also something. So yeah, just like mentioning all the things that are coming through and coming to mind. There just seems to be like a lot, and it took a minute to kind of like unravel it for me to just see the picture. So, you know, I would say if, you know, I always say this on my videos lately, but, you know, if you want the bigger picture and to know kind of like how to piece things together, you can look at the last moon readings that I did, which wasn't really that long ago. And then I have the next ones coming out very soon as well, so you can check those out when they come out. But yeah, if you want a specific reading, something, you know, that is direct and specific to you, I would say get a personal reading. All that information is down below, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.